world's on fire.
Yeah.
But you
just got to keep moving.
All right, Craig. Well, thanks for doing this, dude.
Hell
I
yeah.
appreciate you. Appreciate you coming down. I know
Thanks.
you're only here for a couple days in Tampa, but
Thanks for having me, man.
absolutely. So what's your story? What's your background? Where are you from, and how long you been doing comedy?
I'm Los Angeles, born and raised, born in Harbor City, and raised in Torrance and Lomita. And then I'm half Mexican, half white, half white boy. German, English, Mexican. My dad's white, my mom's brown, and just got in the game at like 25 or 26. Did improv first before stand-up because I was terrified of it at the Second City, and then after I went through that program, I started hitting stand-up pretty hard, and that was probably about 9 years ago. So I guess in the game like a decade or 11, but stand-up consistently. I don't really count the first 2 years because I did it like twice a year, you know? I don't know what to call that, but I just say a cool decade.
Yeah.
Average up or down, I don't know. And then it's cracking now. I'm going everywhere.
You're cracking. You're full tilt. You're traveling the damn country, man. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's crazy. I prayed and wished for this my whole life, and then I got it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm never home. And it's like, oh, this is tiring. It's a beautiful problem, but I'm a little homesick. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm just gone
All the time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at my flights and shit, it's just like do 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 do. And I was
Just hopping everywhere.
Well, you're one of the last comedians that have stayed in California, right? Like they all moved out, or they're all moving out. Right?
Yeah, good chunk.
They're all
Not
following
but-
the almighty Lord and Savior Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I mean Joe's the man, but I'm LA baby.
Hell
so, yeah. I think it's actually great. I think it's great. I don't know. There's mixed reviews on the internet. You see a lot of haters out there. I'm like, what? Who cares? I don't think Austin will ever become like an LA or New York.
No.
But it's a great scene, and it's just leveling out the playing field. I don't even know who said that, but I heard that, and it's right. It's just creating another hub.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? Like, people are such haters. It's just creating more work for everybody.
Right.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And when the big dogs leave, it gives the up and comers chance to rise up. So it's a win for everybody.
Right.
And then there's more work here and there's more work there. And everyone talks shit. I'm like, you idiots.
Yeah.
It's
It's good
literally
for
a
everybody.
win-win.
Yeah.
And you're talking shit. Comics are the most hateful people on earth, dude.
Dude, I was listening to Tim Dillon's podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about how much he hates Austin.
That guy is so fucking funny,
Dude,
dude.
it's insane. He goes, I'm fucking done with this hellhole.
Yeah.
He's like, the food sucks. You got to put in your reservations 7 weeks early just to eat some shitty brisket. And he talks about like the shitty rivers you float around in.
Terry Black's barbecue is the best barbecue I've ever had in my life. So
Texas?
he's wrong about that, but he's
Okay.
right about everything else. That man is so funny. That guy just spits fire, bro. I'm a huge fan of his.
Dude, I was
Austin
dying
is a bit
laughing.
of a. I love Austin, and I've worked there a few times, and I went down by the freeways. It's a bit of a shithole, but I'm not, So was LA. I'm not one
right.
There's just homeless epidemics happening, and my heart goes out to them. But yeah, it's just sad and awful. There's just needles and shit, and some guy on this podcast, I believe Connor Wonders, he said like, Joe Rogan ruined Austin. It was a joke, but he's like, the homeless, was in LA, and then he moved to Austin, and he's like, it came with them.
They followed him.
It was funny because I was like, it looked like it's true, but it's obviously not. It was a joke.
Yeah, I just started following one of those that Instagram profile all about like gutter people. It's called Gutter People of Los Angeles.
It's
or whatever.
so
And it just
sad and
shows the
dark,
most
but
fucked up shit.
fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to watch it, but you're just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember it ever being like that.
The pandemic amplified it by 10, man, and the cops stopped policing or doing anything about it. And I don't know if that's policy or if because they're pissed off everyone was protesting against them. But I'll say this: I did notice after the protests they're a lot slower to get to the crime scene.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, the reason we're talking shit is because of the murder,
Right.
It seems reasonable to stop
Right.
shooting unarmed humans.
Yeah. Well, didn't that guy just get sentenced to like 22 years?
22.5 should have
yeah.
been 30.
Yeah, he just got sentenced yesterday. Crazy.
The max was 30, and he got
Yeah.
22.5. Anyways, that shit's fucking
And
awful.
he'll probably only do 10 if he behaves.
Yeah, he could
probably
probably
get
get
out- he'll probably
paroled early
parole out, like,
after 10 years or something.
10 maybe. Who knows? 15.
I don't know how cops do in prison, but I imagine it's
if
not
he makes
good.
it that long.
You think he'll get protective custody? You think he'll get like
I'm sure
protected?
they
I
will.
think he has to, or he'll
Yeah.
get shivved in the
Oh,
shower
yeah,
for
sure.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like day one.
Yeah, I imagine.
They'd have to put him in protective custody, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've only spent overnight in jail. God bless my mama who bails me out.
What'd you go to jail for?
Just stupid shit. Just threw firecrackers at police officers on horses and stuff like that. It's allegedly.
Yeah.
No, it was an accident, and
Yeah, of course.
you know, just that's why you offered me a beer. I was like, I'm retired, and that's
You're
why.
retired.
That's why.
You're not drinking it? You just don't drink this early?
No, I don't drink. I'm sober.
Oh, you're sober. Okay,
Yeah.
so you used to drink. You had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hence the story of the firecrackers.
How old are you?
37.
37. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So how long have you been sober?
It's going to be 8 years, August 10th, but I started smoking weed like 3 months ago. So I'm California sober or whatever, but
3 months ago. Wow.
or something like that. I don't even remember, but very recently, yeah, the pandemic hit and just some, you know, dark shit, and I was like, man, fuck this. Weed saved my life from, you know, pills and narcotics and whatnot, and
Yeah.
alcohol. So I never really had a beef with it, but I just had to put everything down to get to where I was going, because I have a voracious appetite, and I like to go hard at whatever I'm on. And I know, like, stoners are critical people too. Like, I started smoking weed at 12 years old, all right? I'm a huge advocate of pot. But it can ruin your life, motherfuckers. I've seen it happen. There's the guys that just don't leave their home.
Yeah.
It doesn't ruin your life in the sense you smoke crack and lose your family and your teeth.
Right.
But you don't do shit. And I always say this analogy, like, if you're smoking weed like Snoop Dogg, but you're not fucking Snoop Dogg, put the pipe down, bro. You work at Starbucks, dude. You're not there yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you live with your mom, bro. Chill out, you
Yeah.
know? Go get life. Then chief up all you fucking want.
Cheech and Chong. it.
Yeah. And if you ain't Cheech and Chong, if you ain't Wiz Khalifa, if you ain't Doug Benson, whoever's got a career and is a huge stoner, then chill the fuck out, because you're slowing your shit down. And
That's
that
a
was
good
my
point.
whole point.
That's
and
a
all
really
these
good point.
stoners are like, I'm like, dude, I've smoked from 12 to 29. That's 17 years, motherfucker. Like, I'm on your side.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Just, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it
Balance.
for what it is.
Fucking balance. It's
Yeah.
all about balance.
No, I'm a super fucking lightweight when it comes to anything, especially weed. Like, I can't. I eat these little edibles, these little square edibles that I probably, like, I don't know, maybe they're 20 milligrams, whatever. My wife can eat a whole one, no problem. She'll smoke a joint, eat a whole edible. I only can eat like a little bit of a quarter of one, or else I'll have a full blown panic attack.
That's like my girl. Like, she's built up her tolerance a little bit. I had 5 milligram gummies. She took a bite of one. We're watching like fucking Lord of the Rings or some shit.
Yeah.
Of course, right? And then I look over and it looks like she's passed out on heroin, just like this, in her
Gone.
chair,
Yeah.
like this. I'm like, how does that? You ate 2 milligrams, you know?
I'm the same exact
Yeah, it
fucking
hits
way.
some people
I'm the
hard.
same exact way.
I did grow up though. Like I give this analogy too. Like, I used to smoke the whole fucking joint to the head. Hey, that's not necessary, you know? Now I take like 2 to 4 hits. I get a little high. I put it out. I go back to it, you know, 2
Yeah.
to 4 hours later, and I'm functioning. Like,
Right.
I get to work. It
Right.
helps me with my anxiety and shit.
Yeah.
And then, but if I smoke the whole joint, then it amplifies my anxiety, and I'm just in my head like, I suck.
Yeah.
I'm not funny, you know, like
Yeah.
that. And it's so weird how, like, just a little bit's perfect.
Yeah,
It makes life easier, food's better, sex better, all
Yeah.
that shit. A lot of it, you're just like, oh my God.
What's the Simpsons? Remember the dude who told us the Simpsons quote? The Simpsons character said, "I don't even need drugs to enjoy this, just to enhance it."
Yeah, that's what he said.
I think it was
Yeah.
Curly, maybe. But
I
yeah,
forget.
no, you gotta, like, it's like a fine line. You gotta be able to dance. It's hard sometimes. You know, you gotta you can't take too little, you can't take too much. As long as you're like dancing like a fine line, it like just benefits like work, especially for me.
Yeah.
Like work, like if I'm even like doing something like editing or whatever, and I eat like or smoke the perfect amount or eat the right amount of an edible, I could just be like hyper focused on something
It's
for
fabulous.
for a long time.
It's fabulous. I even noticed, my girl, my fans, my podcast producer noticed, they're like, you speak better, you know, like it slowed me down to where I could actually spit my words out correctly. And then, obviously sometimes it was too high, and it was not the case. But, you know, when it was that perfect little balance, just a couple hits, some good Sun and Soil organic kush, you know, I'm a hippie. I like
What's the name of your podcast?
Community service.
Community service.
God, you guys do no research, huh?
No, I know. I was just teeing you up for it. So, how many episodes do you do? Do you do an episode every week, or how often do you do them?
I do weekly episodes. Community service drops every Wednesday. I dropped the ball on this tour a couple times just because I've been gone like the whole month. Yeah. But as soon as I get back to LA, I'm gonna stack episodes, and that will never happen again. Do you do them remotely, most of them, or do you do a lot of them in person? No. You do them in person? Yeah.
Oh, cool. I saw you had Bill Burr. You were talking.
That was
Bill
the
Burr.
one remote podcast I did because it's Bill fucking Burr.
Right. Yeah.
Any of my friends asked, "Want to do Zoom?" Like, no.
Yeah. Bill Burr.
Like, you're not Bill Burr. It costs like it's way harder. It's it costs more money. I'm just like, nah, man. Like, you get down to my place.
Come over here. Yeah.
Bill Burr wants to do Zoom. He can do Zoom. I'll fucking Zoom him from Mars.
Right.
Whatever you want.
Right. Yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah. That's sick. What was that like, man? That was cool, huh?
I was shitting my pants, dude. I am just so lucky that he saw my shit on the internet, and then he likes me.
Did he reach out to you, or
yeah? Well, I asked
you had,
him.
Like, a connection.
Well, I did like 20 shows with him, and I worked Comedy Store, Laugh Factory, Improv, and Hollywood and shit, and I'd MC a lot, and I'd get to work with big dogs like Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, Sarah Silverman, all, you know, it was so dope. And so I work with him in that capacity a bunch. But when you're the MC, they don't see your set because they show up later, and you do your time, you do 10, 15 up top, and he's usually up last, you know, like he didn't see. So he knew who I was, just like, oh, I know that guy's face. Like, I've seen him around, you know, he's always here. He's a comic.
Right.
And then he saw my shit on the internet. This is like over 4 years. I maybe did like, you know, 10, 15, 20 shows. I don't know, quite a bit of shows. Like, and then he saw my shit on the internet, and then he stopped me at the Comedy Store. He's like, hey man, he's like, I didn't know you were funny. And then, and, you know, because it's true. It's true. It wasn't a shot or nothing because you don't know until you see someone go up or you see their shit online. And then he's like, you're fucking weird, huh? And I was just like, I was literally like this. Like, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
You know, I was so happy. He's like, yeah, man, you're funny. And then he flagged me down again, and he told me, he showed his wife my videos of getting raided. I got raided by the cops, and my buddy was the cop pointing a shotgun at my heart. It's a crazy story.
What?
Anyway, yeah, it's fucking nuts. And then he saw that, and he said he showed his wife, and I was just like, my mind exploded. I was like, dude, you're my hero. Like,
and he's watching your video.
Yeah, I was like, what's happening?
Yeah,
like a dream came true. And then I did a couple shows. The pandemic hit. This was pre-pandemic. And then the pandemic hit, and then I didn't see him for like 6 months until LA started to open. And then I was doing a bar show with him at my buddy Mark Hayes, my Irish buddy, and Josh Adam Myers, another good friend of mine. He was on the show, and I was like, hey, I got my 100th episode of my podcast coming up. I want to ask Bill. And he's like, well, does he know you? You know, like, do you have a relationship? I was like, yeah, he likes me. He said I was funny. He's like, yeah, fucking ask him then, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a relationship, you're just kind of an asshole.
Yeah,
you know?
it's kind of weird.
And then I stood up. I bring up Josh's name because I credit him for me asking him, because I stood up to go ask him, and then I bitched out, and I sat back down. I was like, oh, I'm scared. I don't want to do it.
Shit.
And he's like, get the fuck up. He's like, you go ask him. And I was like, all right. And I got up, and I was like, excuse me, you know, like, may I please,
Mr. Burr?
will you request, could you please do it? And he just said, yeah, I'll do it. What is it? You know, and I was just like, that's how cool he is.
Yeah,
he didn't even know what it
man.
was. I was like, oh, it's my podcast.
That's so sick.
And then he's like, yeah, give me your number. And then I was like, what? And he said yes. And then he's set to do it for my 100th episode. And then he goes, hey, kid, you know what? I booked SNL. I can't do it. Can we do it next week? And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, of course.
Right.
And so he ended up being the 102nd episode because he was gone to New York. And he's like, don't tell anybody. It's not announced yet. And I just felt so cool, you know.
That
I was
you
like,
knew, yeah,
I was like,
talking
what
to you.
the fuck planet am I on, dude?
Yeah.
You know? And then
surreal.
he did SNL, and then he did my podcast, and that's why he's the GOAT, man.
That's
like
so sick.
That's so.
he goes
dope.
from NBC, one of the biggest, most iconic shows ever, to my little hippie ass's podcast, just helping me out. You know what I mean?
Rad.
What a crazy world, man.
That guy's the shit, dude. God bless him.
His now he's like one of the rare guys like that's similar to Tim Dillon in the way that he can just talk by himself, right?
Yeah.
He can just like sit there and banter forever about and just talk shit.
It's so hard to do that
Yeah.
and make it that good consistently. Like, I'll do solo episodes, and some of them are hits, and some of them like, oh man, I don't know, like maybe we'll edit that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so to keep that for an hour or more by yourself.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's so hard. That's why I like to have guests. It just helps,
Yeah, I've never done a solo one. I probably never will. It'd be
fucking
so boring,
hard,
bro.
dude. You better have some notes.
Yeah, for real.
That's all I gotta say.
You gotta
Those
be
guys
loaded,
just riff.
ready to go.
Just riff gold, and you're just like, what are you guys?
Tim's is funny because he can make fun of his producer guy, the guy that sits there with the computer. Like that's funny because
I love that guy too.
He just laughs.
Ben, right?
Yeah,
He's
when he laughs, it just makes it so much funnier, just because you're just laughing at him laughing.
yeah, and he's so like mean to him. It's an act, He's like, you're fired, when he fired him for Lee Syat, another buddy. I hope I pronounced your name right, Liam. I apologize. My apologies if I biffed it. But that shit was so funny. The Curb Your Enthusiasm music. Did you see that?
No,
Ben?
I didn't see that.
He got mad at Ben. He fired him, and then all of a sudden it pans to Lee filling in.
Really?
Oh,
and then it goes,
I did see that.
Yeah,
I
was
see that.
dying. I was like, oh no, and I thought it was real for a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
Then I was like, nah, that's a bit.
And they put the music in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's classic.
Dude, they're
Funny
great.
as shit. So what happened with your friend sticking a shotgun in your chest? What's that story?
I was living in Culver City, and it feels weird telling it on a podcast. I tell it on stage.
Do you not
but
normally do that?
No,
It's
no,
okay
I
if
do
you
it.
don't
It's
wanna-
a great story.
Okay. I don't want to ruin your bit or whatever.
No.
Okay.
It's already posted on the internet, and that was like 10 years ago. I maybe had done stand-up twice when I did this story at the Moth Storytelling the Grand Slam. I don't know. Anyways, I was at classes at UCB for improv and storytelling because I was scared of stand-up still. That's why I went to that world. Yeah. And then my friends were like, hey, come to the Moth Storytelling show. And I was like, all right. And then I put my name in a bucket, and it was the theme was getting duped, like tricked or whatever. And I was like, well, I got raided yesterday, and it was the wrong house, so that's like a dupe. I don't know. And then so when I told the story at the Moth like a decade ago, I got raided the day before. So I got raided, and then I told the story. So when you watch it, and I'm so raw and green, like I forget what I'm talking about, and I'm just like, I'm in the middle of the story, and I'm just like, I fucking love you guys, because I don't know where I'm going, like you can see the greenness in me, but it's funny,
Yeah.
And then I'm just telling a true story because those, it's hard to mess those up. Anyways, I was working at, I'm going to tell the whole long story that's not the green version. I was working at Trader Joe's, and I was training my coworker. I bring that up because I was a mad stoner back then, and we're on lunch break, and I'm training him, and he's a little shifty. He's the tweaker fool, but he's my people, he's Latino, and then and then I was like, want to smoke a bowl? We're on lunch break. And I pulled a fucking weed bowl out like a normal human being. He pulled out the pookie pipe. Ooh. Speed, meth. And I had never smoked meth in my life at that point. And then he's like, you want a hit? And everything in my mind, body, and soul said no, but I'm an addict. I was like, all right, and I took a little hit. And I was like, oh, that's good, Yeah. And I was a good worker that day, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, yeah, I want more. And then I went to his house, and it was in the fucking hood. It was off like Hoover, and I was just like, oh, shit, this is sketchy as fuck. And this is L.A., South Central shit, or I don't even know where I was, but it wasn't a good neighborhood.
Yeah.
I was scoring dope, and the fucking ghetto birds were up there, and I was all paranoid in my head. Anyways, I get home, and then I'm good, and me and my buddy do some shit. We'll go out drinking, have a good time. I say all that because cut to maybe like 4 or 5 days later, I'm asleep in my bed, and I just hear noise, and I don't know what it is 'cause I'm asleep. What it is fucking SWAT team breaking down the gate, because we lived in like a back house. It was a house, but the landlord split it in half. So it was a front house and a back house, but it wasn't like a duplex. He just did that to create double homes, double rent, make money. So I'm in the back house, and I just hear noise, and I'm just like, I'm waking up, you know, and I'm blind as a bat. I wear glasses and contacts. I'm minus like 7.5 is bad. I can't see shit. You'd be blurry from this distance. And I think this is my roommate, my buddy, playing a prank on me, you know, and I just hear hands in the air. And then I'm reaching for my glasses, and I hear hands in the air, motherfucker. And I'm just like, who is this? You know, like this. And then
You threw in the motherfucker.
yeah, oh yeah. And then they fill up this window and this window and this window to my little studio back bungalow, whatever you could call it. And then I'm just like, oh shit, you know, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And all I kept thinking is like, oh, the meth guy, you know, because I was selling a little weed, little fireworks, little mushrooms, but nothing.
Yeah.
I'm no Pablo Escobar. It was like
Right.
quarter pound of weed, an ounce of mushrooms, some Roman candles, firecracker, you know, the basics.
The
Yeah.
basics, just the necessities.
Yeah.
And then they go, open your door, because I had a deadbolt and shit, you know, and then I open the door, and there's a Culver City cop pointing a shotgun at my chest, and then I just go, Chris. And he goes like this, Craig, and he pulls his gun back, and it's my buddy Chris Caraballo. I'm not sure if I was supposed to say his whole name. I keep fucking that up. I'm sorry, Chris. Anyways,
We could edit it out.
oh
if we
yeah,
have to.
just bleep his last name.
Yeah.
And he's I've known him since I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
I played Little League with him, maybe even younger. I went to middle school, high school with him. He's my buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm not. He's
Like,
fucking
yo,
raiding
what's
me.
up?
And we went down different paths, you know.
Yeah,
and then,
totally.
And then I'm just like, help me!
Right.
Like, what the fuck's happening?
No.
And then he handcuffs me, and in my act, I say like that motherfucker, you know. But he put him on loose. He really did, because I've been cuffed up 3 times prior.
Yeah. They put
Anytimes-
them tight as fuck.
Fuck them, man. They
Yeah.
crank them on so hard, you
They
get
cut
nerve
you.
damage.
So they
they
cut
cut
you.
you.
Yeah,
I
they
literally
fuck
got
you up.
locked up twice before overnight, you know, and then I had to go to work Trader Joe's, and I couldn't even like ring people up. I was like, my wrist, you know, I couldn't stock apples good.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, they're like, stop getting arrested. I'm like, I'm not trying to.
Oh my god, that's
Anyways,
crazy.
that's why I'm sober. And then so I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, dude, I got like weed in there, and got, you know,
You told
mushrooms
him.
there, and he's like, bro, like I see my friend, and he's like, hey man, stop telling me this, you know. And then I was like, I got fireworks in there, you know. I'm on probation for fireworks because of to the firecracker
Yeah, on
horse
the horse
assaulting
horseman.
incident. Another story, and then he started laughing. He's like, oh yeah, the one that made the paper, because it made a couple local newspapers, so of course he heard about it. And I was like, yeah. And then they bring another cop up, and he has a drug sniffing dog, you know. And then he's like, you got anything, hippie? And I was like, yeah, you know, of course, dude. And then he's like, tell me where it is, and we're gonna rip your room apart. And I was like, it's in the dresser, like you'll find it. And then they pull me out to the alley, and I'm just handcuffed with my roommates, and we're just like, what the fuck, you know, we're sleeping, we're in our choni, our underwear.
Yeah.
And then yeah, they were questioning me, and they surrounded me, and I got really nervous, and I farted, and I swear on my life, I farted on the cops, and my roommate was just like, oh my, I was like, it was an accident. I was just nervous. I was like, Zurley. I was like, I'm sorry. And then they're just looking at me like, look at this fucking retarded hippie.
Did this
just
guy
farted
just
on
shit
us,
his
you know?
just
farted on
shit
me.
his pants?
Yeah, and then later,
You're
why?
lucky you didn't shit your pants.
I know, seriously. I was like, can you help me out?
Yeah.
Spicy.
I'm handcuffed.
And then all I kept thinking is, I can't go to jail again. My mom's not gonna bail me out for a 4th time. I have to bail myself out, or I'm not a man. You know what I mean? The 4th time, I'm like, leave me in, Mom. I'm sorry. That's on me. And all I kept thinking is like, I can't miss UCB school. I paid $750 for these motherfucking comedy classes. I know that sounds crazy and like a bit, but that's all I was thinking. I was like, I gotta go to school. I gotta go to school. I gotta get funny. You know,
Yeah.
I can't go to jail. I gotta go to fucking clown school. And then I didn't even know this. My good buddy Grant Lyon told me, because I was in UCB with this guy. He's a great comic. and he's on my show in LA July 2nd. Come get these jokes. Jam in the Van, West LA. And then he said that I had told, because I was like, I'm a fucking weird, addict kid going to these improv classes. Everyone's from out of town. I'm from LA, and they're just like, what are you? You know what I mean? And then like in that UCB class, I'm just an open, I'm open, and I was like, dude, I smoked meth yesterday for the first time. And everyone's like, why are you telling us this? I was like, I don't know. And then cut to like, man, I got raided. And then just like everything's adding up. And then later in that class, he told me that I farted, and the teacher, this is right after I got raided. I made it to class because I didn't go to jail because they were there for King Mike, the front house. Because he was a drug lord running meth or some shit. He had 2 strikes.
The guy who owned the house?
No, just the renter in the front house.
Okay.
He was a 2-time striker. They were trying to strike him out and send him to prison for the rest of his life. I guess he was dealing like meth and guns and some shit. He had good kush though, I tell you what.
Did he really?
Yeah. And then his name was King Mike on the Wi-Fi. I just thought it was funny. And in the act, I say his password was Thug123. That's obviously a bit. That's the only fabricated part of the story. And then, where was I? I don't even remember. Oh,
the class he's talking about, like smoking meth.
Yeah, he told me that I farted. Like, I didn't even remember this. I farted the same day in class that I farted on the teacher. And I know that sounds crazy, but like I got cops, witnesses, classmates that vouch for me. Like, it just sounds made up,
It's a weird day.
Yeah, but I always have been a farter, and I think it's funny and hilarious. The cop one was more nerves than anything.
Yeah.
The class one I forgot, and I probably thought it was going to be quiet, and it wasn't. And the teacher's like, "Are you fucking serious? Did you just fart?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Was it a loud one or a silent one?
It was a loud one, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she went. And then I ended up running into my buddy Chris, the cop, later on the streets. He was just patrolling. I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like,
how crazy was that?
Remember when you almost killed me, bro?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And he said the precinct talked about me for like a month or 2. He's like, remember that dumb hippie that fucking farted on us? And I was like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's just fucking, it's like, you can't even make this shit up. Thank you, God, for all my
Holy
stories.
shit, man.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
dude, it's so wild. Anyways, I got sober. I'm off narcotics, no alcohol, only weed. I'll never touch a narcotic again. I think it's devil reincarnate. It ruined my life. It just ruined my friend's life. It's killed many of my friends. It's the worst. And in my opinion, alcohol is the fucking worst drug on this earth because it led to all my narcotic behavior, which no one smokes weed and then goes, I'm going to go do meth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get shit-faced.
Yeah.
And then some motherfucker was like, you want some meth? And you're like, all right. It doesn't just happen like that. It's 98% of the time it's alcohol.
You think all drugs should be legal?
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely, 100%. Legal, education, you know what they are. They're clean. They're made. No fillers, no fentanyl, no harmful byproducts. There's rehab facilities. I think everything should be legal unless it's murder, rape, and, of course, that horrible shit. Prostitution should be legal. Legalize all of it. Whenever you make it illegal, it just makes dark entities take it over.
Yeah.
And now I want prostitutions to have unions, retirement plans, mental health care, exit strategies.
Hell yeah.
Fucking Roth IRAs. Let's get these hoes some fucking millions, man.
Some retirement plans.
I'm serious.
Roth IRAs.
Roth IRAs, baby.
For the
Hell yeah.
for the lot
Why
lizards.
not?
Yeah.
The way it's going now, it's been around since fucking Jesus. The pimps control it. They beat the fuck out of them. They're constantly, it's not regulated. They're getting murdered and kidnapped by weird fucking meth truckers, lot lizards and shit like that. Let's legalize this shit, unionize it, get them benefits, dental, fucking rehab and exit plans.
Hell yeah.
And what's the problem, man? Why is that so crazy?
It's not. There's a couple countries that do it, I think. There's one.
Yeah.
I think Holland is the one that lets you
Did
shoot
you know
up
this
heroin.
statistic? When prostitution is legal, rape goes down.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that is a real fact.
And
I learned that through comedy. My buddy Greg Romero Wilson did it in a bit, and I was like, "Is that true?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then I googled it, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, it makes sense.
It also saves women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I was in Aruba, and it's legal there. And, like, girls would come from other countries there, and it's legal, and they have to come in, check in with a doctor, get paperwork, get tested, get paperwork signed off that they're clean, and then they can go legally prostitutes.
It's amazing. If it's legal, it's done by choice. When it's illegal,
have,
that's
like,
when they're
little
getting
cards.
kidnapped and hooked to dope and trafficked. It's fucking insane. The solution is so simple. Legalize it.
Yeah.
I'm a big union guy. My uncle's in the union, you know.
Is he?
Yeah, let's just make a livable wage. Like, why do people always want to go against the union? Oh, you don't want a hardworking worker to have a life and buy a home and feed his family and have health care?
Right.
That is fucking America. That's what we're about.
Right.
It's like, no, minimum wage. Make them work 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, this country's
And
so
barely
stupid.
make rent.
We're the richest nation in the world without health care.
Unions are pretty dirty, though. There's some unions up north that are pretty fucking ruthless. Like, Mikey tells stories about some of those unions that would march on his uncle's lawn.
You know, it gets a little mafioso, but hey.
Starts to run certain parts of it and shit.
They give me my Roth IRA. I'll look the other way.
Right. Hey, whatever.
They let me buy my home for my family.
Where's Jimmy Hoffa?
Yeah.
But aren't there
in the ocean?
There's some corrupt motherfuckers on the top of those unions that collect their union dues. That
corrupt people.
They probably break
though.
some
There's
legs
corrupt
here and
people
there.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want corruption anywhere, including the unions. But I'm more okay with that because at least the working man is getting a fair fucking shake. You know, he's getting. It's just crazy how hard you have to work.
You know we're in Florida, by the way, because they're cutting down trees with a chainsaw 2 inches away from the door.
What's crazy is you got the good mics. I got these too. Is that it feels like of course it's inside of our brains and it's heckling us. But 98% of the time it doesn't come through.
Not too bad.
Yeah, because I have the same thing. LA, just start the podcast.
Yeah,
and then the neighbor starts mowing his lawn. I'm like, God damn it!
I love it. I just love leaving it in because that shit always happens over here, and I just leave it in for the comments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like, it's life.
Doing the podcast, does that help your comedy? Does it help your
for sure.
Like your writing or whatever, like working stuff out? Because I know there's a lot, like pretty much every comic they have podcasts.
You can flesh out some bits on it. It's quite fabulous. You go on rants. You're able to talk about it longer, which on stage you might not be able to because on a podcast you don't need laugh. In front of a live audience, you're bombing, you know. You're bombing. You're not gonna get booked again if it's just too long of periods without laughters.
Yeah.
So yes, it's beautiful for that, and you see Bill Burr do it all the time. I don't know how to do it on his level and that guy just churns a bit. Tim Dillon, same shit. Like these guys are just fucking geniuses, and it's like fuck. They're also 20, 30 years in the game.
Right. Yeah, they're veterans.
You know, everything comes with time.
Is it how much of it is like developed skill versus like natural born God-given talent?
It's both. You know, there's always Eddie Murphy. You know, that guy was just born
funny
top
as hell.
dog.
Right.
That guy was just never left. You're like, he retired from stand up at 25. You know what I mean? Most people
That's crazy.
don't make it. The guy retired as one of the goats by 25. I'm like, okay, Tupac. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But of course, natural goes way further than anything. But I have seen painfully unfunny comics work extremely hard and get good at it.
Really?
It's a muscle. It can be learned.
Yeah.
It's just like you know, you're bad at math. You take a tutor at math every fucking day. All of a sudden, you get good at math. I've seen bad comics get good, and I respect that. You, of course, when anyone bombs that bad, you're like, oh, you can't even look them in the eye.
Right.
But when they work that hard and they turn it around, I'm like, oh, all right, I see you. God damn, you know, you used to suck.
Yeah.
And now you're good, and that's crazy. But of course, the natural, you know, goofy motherfucker.
Yeah.
They just get up there and you're just like, yeah, I like this guy. You know, I know people where their aura and energy and presence on stage is way more advanced than their bits. Like, I'm not really a fan of their bits, but I'm a fan of them. So I still love it. It doesn't matter, you know. And also, it's just newer, you know. Everything's time. Like, everyone's in such a rush. There's no stand-up comedy. It's just time. You know the analogy, 10,000 hours?
Yeah.
In stand-up, you're trying to get 10,000 hours 3 minutes at a time, you know? It's not easy.
Yeah.
In the beginning in LA anyways, you get 3 to 5 minutes at open mics. And then you know, that's 2 to 6 years of that, depending on your growth. And then after that, you get 10, 8 to 15,
Right.
Averaging out about 10. So, I'm 10 years in, and I have a pretty good following, and I'm well liked, and I only get 10. I'm not saying I deserve more. I'm just trying to give you an accurate description. It doesn't matter. Like even Bill Burr, Joe Rogan on the Comedy Store lineup, they get 15. There's just too many comics in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And so
Even still.
oh yeah. Yeah, we're like cockroaches. 10,000 leave, 10,000 rise up.
Yeah.
You never stop comedy, man. And it's just crazy. What were we talking about? I forgot.
Remember. I love California though. I was hoping that like.
What was that rant going? There was the question.
What were we talking about?
We're all stoners.
We're talking about like natural born talent being funny.
Oh, that's
what it was.
See? He had it. Yeah. Natural shit always wins, but you got to work hard too. Sure. You have to work.
Right.
There's no shortcuts in this game.
Yeah, I was hoping that like maybe enough people from California would move from Texas to Florida and kind of like thin it out there, and then maybe like make the price of real estate go up here. I could just sell all my shit here and go back to California, or like go to like San Diego. I like San Diego better. I
love San Diego.
San Clemente, San Diego,
Escondido,
those areas.
San Onofre, Oceanside. Yeah, my cousin Dawn lives down there. I go visit her, and I do La Jolla Comedy Store, or
okay.
My buddy Josh Nelson's show. He's a producer, a comic, and producer. He has some fire shows, and I love San Diego. It's just like, well, sometimes it gets a little too fucked up. PB is a little bit too much cocaine, a little too much liquor, a lot of you're like, too many affliction shirts and tank tops. I'm like, calm down, dude. We're at the beach. Oh, sorry, Pacific Beach.
Oh, okay.
PB San Diego Pacific.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, we're at the beach. No one needs to be that angry.
There's a lot of cocaine down there.
Yeah. Anywhere with his.
We should go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's cocaine everywhere.
Yeah,
you're in Florida, dude.
Right,
Are you
man.
fucking kidding me?
I heard.
What do you think of Florida?
I fucking love it. Those
like it,
thunder
dude?
scares me. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it was storming here pretty
Holy
good.
shit. It felt like it hit my house. Like,
it's a cool time of year because it's like it just started happening like a week ago.
Yeah,
That
it's
shit's
been
scary,
dry
bro.
for a long time.
It's been dry. It hasn't rained once in like I feel like it's been 10 months since it's rained. And now all of a sudden the weather's like this every night. It's gonna like get these
it's like the rainy
thunderstorms and it
season. We get these
rains.
storms.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fun.
I like weather, but it does scare me just because I'm from LA, born and raised, and I haven't really experienced weather my whole life.
Yeah.
Besides visiting it very shortly,
Yeah.
So like when it happens, I'm like, oh. But then an earthquake happens, and I don't
earthquakes,
even
right?
leave. I just lay in bed, and like everyone's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, who gives a shit?"
We've never had an earthquake here.
Crazy.
And
Yeah.
my whole house will be rolling. And I'll be on my phone like, "When's this gonna?" It's so weird.
Really?
Damn.
I don't know why that is. I know I should be scared. Because I grew up with them,
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, it's just an earthquake. We
same
haven't
thing
had
with
the big
hurricanes.
one yet, and of course, you know the story. We're supposed to fall off into the ocean, and we're long overdue. That's scary.
That's
we're on a
pretty
fucking
crazy.
fault line, and I thought the fault line was up north, and then I googled it very recently. I was like, oh, I'm dead.
What is it like the San Andreas Fault?
San Andreas
Yeah.
Fault. It just goes like this, and it's pretty much California would just crack and just fall into the ocean, and I'm just like, oh boy. Yeah,
They say
that
Florida's supposed to be underwater by like 2050. Like
man,
Miami
they
will
say
be
all
underwater.
that shit. They're fucking lying.
Bro,
It's a fear factory.
Did you see that fucking building
Well,
that collapsed in Miami?
Yeah,
That's
well, that's where I
awful.
read it from because they said it was like their
No, but did you
soil
read the
was-
reports? That was negligence. A 2018
Oh, I'm
report
sure.
said,
Nothing
"Hey,
should
you
ever
need
fall like that."
you need to repair all this shit.
Yeah.
There's structural damage in the columns,
Yeah.
and you need to do it now."
Yeah.
3 years later, not done.
Yes.
People died.
Right.
Fuck the owner. Hang him.
Did they
He
say
did
how
that.
many people died in that?
His 4 confirmed
Four
dead,
confirmed, like,
149 missing. Like they can't even find them, bro. Whole families
Dude, that
just
shit
disappeared.
is fucked, man. You look at the picture of that building, and you can see like this
Yeah.
kid's bunk bed like dangling.
Whoever
off the
said
edge.
no to the repair should be shot.
Yeah.
Totally
Absolutely,
disemboweled.
man.
Yeah.
Whoever
That's a
owns that
strong.
place.
I don't know if that's illegal to say that, but
I think you could say it.
shot with a Nerf gun. It's comedy, satire.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
that
no, that's
guy.
fucked
Yeah,
up.
that's
I
wild.
think the laws are that you have to get those inspections, like the structural integrity inspections every 40 years.
40.
40 is I think that's the law for those buildings.
Oh my
It should be.
God.
It should be like at least 20.
Should be
I'm
every
just guessing.
4.
It should be 10. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm now a structural engineer, but I sure as hell know 40 is a long
That's a
time.
long time.
Yeah.
It's a wee bit too long there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fucked
Jesus
up.
Christ. I know you build a brand new building and probably don't need inspections for a long time, but 40. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's insane. People just died, man.
No, that is stupid. That's really dumb. Going back to you talking about cocaine. I heard the best cocaine story I've ever heard in my life yesterday on this podcast. This guy told me. He was telling me he wrote a book about the famous killing of Sharon Tate, the Charles Manson killings. And after he wrote his book, Marilyn Manson blew up his emails and blew up his phone and was blowing up his like publicist or whatever. And she thought it was fake because he was sending these cryptic emails. And she eventually, they're like, just call the number that he gave us and see if it's really him, because the girl's like a fan of him or whatever. So she calls him and she goes, yeah, it's really fucking him. Like he wants to meet, like he wants you to come to his house. So he's like, oh, okay. He doesn't really know anything. This guy's older. He doesn't know anything about Marilyn Manson, but his partner that helped him write his book was like a fan of him as well. He was like a drummer or something. So he flew here from New York and they both went to his house. And they got there. Manson was like, don't show up before 11 p.m. So they show up at like 11:30, and they get into this like dark dungeon.
That's so weird. Why don't you say come over at 11:30 p.m.?
Right.
Don't show up before 11.
Before that.
He goes,
Anytime after
Who
that.
knows what the fuck's going on
You got
before
a
11:30?
22-hour window.
Yeah.
It's such a weird. It's such a Marilyn Manson thing to say.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
make just coming over weird.
yeah,
Knock 9
Yeah, it
times
gives you
and
a lot
hail
of-
Satan
Yeah.
before you enter.
dude. And he said he had all this crazy stuff in there. He said that like when you first walk in the door, he had a life-size cutout. First of all, he had Taylor Swift blasting throughout his whole mansion. Like he had just Taylor Swift music blasting for 2 hours. And when you first walk in his door, he had a life-size cutout of Taylor Swift with like blood all down her, and like they drew this big vagina on her with like blood and stuff everywhere. And like he's like canceled right now for some like sexual deviant, being a sexual deviant or something.
Yeah.
His ex-wife came out and said that he did some like fucked up shit. But and then he also has this baboon he smuggled out of China, this like 6 foot tall baboon stuffed with a giant erection that he smuggled out of China.
He just had a baboon with a boner.
Giant baboon with a giant boner, like in the middle of his living room. And he had this crazy shit, like
So crazy.
a skeleton,
I mean, just get a dog, bro.
a human skeleton with a goat head on it, like hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, I'm good on that hang. I don't.
and he lives up-
That's too
That's
dark.
like real Marilyn Manson
Yeah,
shit.
Bro.
I thought it was an act, bro.
No,
like, come on.
it's not an act, bro.
Goats' heads and boner baboons. Get the fuck out of here.
And you know the story. I don't know if you know the story, but Zac Efron went to rehab. He went to rehab. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but he was basically like filming a movie and he got Baker acted in the middle of filming. Like he came to set one day like really fucked up, and he was like super coked up and like drunk. And
Damn.
They Baker acted his ass.
What the fuck's Baker act?
It's like, what is it? You know,
you gotta go to
That's it.
rehab. But if
Yeah, when they take you, you're like too fucked up. They think you're maybe kill yourself, suicidal
Oh,
people.
so,
They Baker act
like
all the
he
time.
couldn't. He couldn't leave if he wanted to.
Exactly.
Okay,
No,
gotcha.
they
like,
forced
against
to
his will,
take you
right.
in. Yeah.
That's the only kind of rehab that works.
yeah, exactly.
I could leave.
Yeah, right. I could show up next week, sure, maybe.
yeah. And anyways, so Zac Efron was there partying, and he said that
At Marilyn's house.
at Marilyn's house
Oh my
the
god.
night before he
That's
got
like-
Baker
that's a
acted.
Celebrity's
party.
so weird, you know.
Up
Right.
all night. I guess he's like a huge fan of Marilyn Manson or whatever. And he said he reached out to him and he was like, yeah, come over and party with me or whatever. And he was over there for a few days, whatever. And then, like the last night he was there, Marilyn Manson was carving out giant cocaine swastikas and having Zac Efron, and they were both snorting these giant cocaine swastikas off the floor. And in his dark dungeon, and he's like, remind you, he's got this giant palace on top of a hill in like the Pacific Palisades, and all the windows are blocked in. Like he blacked out all the windows, so you can't even see out any of the windows. It's just
That's
this
such
black
an
dungeon.
unhealthy
Marilyn
life.
Manson
I don't
to
like
its
this
level.
world.
And
That's-
he's like,
that scares
he's like
the
in his
fuck out of me.
50s, bro, and he's doing this every night.
What the fuck? How are these guys not dead? I don't understand it. I look back at my past, and that does not even come close to what they're doing. And I'm like, I almost died. Like,
Yeah.
what? And I got out, you know?
Yeah,
Some people are
That
on
shit's
dude's
another
living
level,
it every
man.
day, man.
Fuck.
He's probably been doing it since he was in his 20s. It's probably nothing.
Can't
probably
last
changed.
too much longer doing shit like that. Though,
No,
forever.
your heart's going to
Yeah.
explode.
Yeah. Sooner or
Marilyn,
later.
your heart's going to give out.
Yeah.
I don't know you, but
Take a
stop
chill
it.
pill.
Jesus Christ. Little weed. That's
Anyways,
it. That's
yeah.
it. Wow.
That's the best cocaine story I think I've ever
Yeah, that's
heard.
pretty insane, bro.
How
Yeah.
weird is it to picture Zac Efron and Marilyn Manson chilling together?
That's what I said. I was like, what
blowing
is
lines.
what's
I don't think
like,
it's that weird. He hangs out with like Shia LaBeouf. He hangs out with Nick Cage. hangs out with Johnny Depp. It seems about par for the course, you know.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
Marilyn
the partiers.
Manson.
Johnny
yeah,
Depp
the
was
good
huge
ones.
fans with Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Was he
Hell
really
yeah.
friends with him?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
he
he wrote
lived
Fear
with
and
them
Loathing?
for a while.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
he
yeah.
went and stayed with them for a month or two, or I forgot. But when he was getting ready to tape Fear and Loathing,
Yeah.
he stayed at Hunter's house for a while,
Oh,
and then they
that
became
guy
huge
was crazy.
friends. And then they always part. Hunter S. Thompson is the craziest, coolest motherfucker ever. Did you see him on
was
video
a
just
big
having a
cokehead, right?
shootout with his neighbor? He was the biggest everything.
Drug,
Yeah.
everything.
They said he was like Superman. Like he just was
He
take
functioned on it. Like
fucking a sheet of acid and drink a quart of whiskey and just like no one could even tell.
fuck.
And just would write and
He's a god.
watch the
Yeah, he was
documentary
crazy.
on him though. It's
Yeah.
kind of sad. They said
Is it?
like towards the end the drugs took its toll and his
Yeah.
light got dimmed and they said he would sit in front of a typewriter and later after all the years of drug abuse and it was like a lightning bolt would hit him and he'd go grrrr, and he'd like write some genius shit and then it would like stop and he'd have to wait
Damn.
for it. It was a really cool analogy.
Really?
And he blew his fucking brains out
Yeah.
with his family home. He said, if Bush wins the election again, I'm going to blow my brains out. And then he did. And that's the saddest shit I ever heard.
That's
But he is a man of his word.
Yeah,
bro.
for sure.
And with his family home, and his son was talking about it. And he's like, it's kind of sad and poetic. But he's like, that's the way he wanted it, you know?
Yep.
And it was just nuts. And
What's the documentary called?
I don't remember,
Remember?
but just
Look it
Yeah,
up.
just look
so
up Hunter
good.
S. Thompson.
And he was having a shootout with his neighbor, and the guy's just filming it, and he's going like this, "Pah," and then his neighbor shoots back, and then you just hear, "Pah," and just bullets ricocheting. He's like, "That's my fucking neighbor."
What?
He's like, and they're just having a shootout on like a Sunday, and I'm like, what is happening
crazy,
here?
man.
You're shooting guns at each other.
Then
Guy's
the
got a
dispute
hand
ends and
cannon.
you just go about your day after that.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Like,
there's a bunch of
fucking-
documentaries.
Jeff next door is the real dick.
Yeah, Gonzo. That's it.
Gonzo, is that it?
So good.
Huh.
And Gonzo I don't remember, it's been too long, may have been the name of the lawyer.
That's a sick cover. I like the artwork.
Who was the lawyer in the movie Fear and Loathing? That was based off a real character.
Was it?
Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro, yeah, he was the actor for it.
Yeah, that guy was a real character, and they talk about him in the movie. And Hunter said he was like a scary man. Like you were
Really?
he was a lawyer, and he was a big, strong dude. He's like, is this guy gonna get me out of jail or like murder me? You know, like he said he was a man not to be trifled with. It was a
Yeah.
very scary guy. So of course he hung out with him and did copious amounts of drugs with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was sick, man.
I
I,
feel like
read
drugs-
a story about him with the Hells Angels before. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
like super gnarly, man.
He got the shit
He
beaten out
stayed
of
with
him.
them for like a couple months. Yeah, did everything they did. Yeah, they beat his ass
Yeah.
one night though, jumped him and shit.
Remember that? I remember that story. I think it was in this. He said, because one of the Hell's Angels was beating his lady and beating his dog. And he goes, any man that beats his lady and beats his dog is a punk.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, you
and
really
he's
mean
like
that?
chilling at the biker bar. Like,
And then
with
he's
all
like,
of them.
yeah. And then they beat the fuck out of him
Yeah.
because they're the Hell's Angels. But he was
Jesus
right,
Christ.
you know.
Yeah. And
then he
he
went
still
to the,
chilled with them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like smoked meth with them and fucking partied with them.
He went to the cops all bloody and like said that Hell's Angels is beating my ass. And they said, get out of here. You're getting blood on the counter. And like no one helped him.
God damn. And he still, after he got his ass beat, he stayed there and hung out?
I don't remember.
I don't know
exactly.
after the beating. I
Yeah.
want to say I would say he chose not to be there
Yeah.
anymore.
Who knows?
I thought I
watched
remember
it
the
in,
story
like,
going
10
on
years
a
ago.
little bit, but I don't remember.
Seems like drugs go hand in hand with being a creative genius.
Sometimes,
Yes,
yeah.
but also death and dark shit. You know,
It'll be a short run, but it'll be
yeah,
a good
it's
one.
a slippery slope.
I will say this: like, I'm glad I went through what I went through, and I've given this analogy before. Like, I'm a fan of drugs, and they fucking fun, dude. But you know, obviously, if they get you, you lose your family, your home, your life, etc.
Yeah.
Go to jail. Bad shit happens. But I just like obviously you can't tell kids not to do them. That doesn't fucking work. But like,
Right.
I just say, like, I dove all in and went like crazy, but I had my hand on the side of the swimming pool. Like, don't let go.
Right.
If you go all in, you're fucking toast. You seen where it goes.
Yeah.
It's nowhere good.
No.
There's no happy endings. I mean, even Keith Richards, he's like the one guy that's been on heroin for 50 years.
How is he
That's
still
one guy.
alive,
Yeah,
bro?
yeah.
The rest are dead.
unreal.
There's one guy.
Yeah.
What do you think his secret is?
He's got reptile blood. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't fucking know.
He's got a really good dealer, that's for sure.
Well, he said that he does the same amount no matter
He's
what.
not going
like
overboard.
he doesn't, you know.
Okay.
That's what he's been quoted saying. I don't
And he
know.
can quit whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Right. So it's no big deal.
But just, you know, of course you want to experience shit. We all do. We're curious as fuck.
Yeah.
But just have an exit strategy. And, you know, like I've heard all these stories before, and they're jokes you hear in AA or the program. And, you know, like, don't try Coke because, like, the joke is, like, I tried it once for 5 years. You're like, no one does it once.
Yeah,
you know?
no,
It's
never.
just trouble.
It's like, hey, you want a bump?
Give me the A-ball. Give me the A-ball.
One's too many and 500's not enough.
Yeah, exactly. You know the sayings. It's true. They're sayings for a reason. But I'm a fan of natural, you know, what God makes. Sun and soil, seed, mushrooms, weed.
Yeah.
It's been a part of our culture, you know, from
Forever.
ancient civilizations. And
Well, Coke's from nature.
no, the cocoa
Sorta.
leaf is from
Mixed with-
nature.
from
The
gasoline,
cocoa
yeah.
leaf is from nature, and you
That's
put it in
true.
your cheek and you chew on it like tobacco, and it's like coffee. It's like strong coffee. Then we cook it in a laboratory and make it crack cocaine or cocaine powder and
Right.
sniff it, shoot it up, and smoke it.
We pour diesel
That's
fuel
not
on
natural,
A little
bro.
bit of
That's not
kerosene.
that
Kerosene,
changes
that
things a
definitely
little bit.
changes
You know what I mean?
things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely more. I mean, I've talked about it. Like, there's like a weird stigma on uppers versus downers. Like weed and mushrooms. Like, it's easy for people to talk about, like, casually
Well,
doing.
because have you
smoking weed
seen
and
meth heads, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen meth? Have you seen hippies? Little different.
Yeah.
Little different.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
like no one's ever proud of being high on meth or high on coke, but weed and mushrooms and that kind of stuff, LSD, like the trippy stuff is different. Like, you can be proud of it.
Because unless you fry your fucking brain, which I've seen happen too, it kind of changes you for the better.
Yeah.
I remember the first seeds ever planted of sobriety were as a teenager on mushrooms, and I never had that thought in my life. I didn't even know that was an option with my family, and on both sides, you know, everyone just partied. And then, like, you do little mushrooms, you're like, man, what am I doing? Like, I need to be better. Like, I'm gonna hug my mom, tell her I love her. I'm gonna get off these pills. Like, what's this poison, you know?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the high goes down, and then I just take the pills and forget
Yeah.
about it. But I never thought that until mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it took me about a decade to get out of that. Pills and coke and whatever, you know. I was just a partier. It's like, people say, what was your choice? Obviously, Oxycontin, Norcos, the opioids. I just love that. But, like,
That's
it's
a big
like,
thing down here too.
it's like, whatever. Like, what's at the party? Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter what you got.
Yo, you hit the AC, Austin. Yeah, what was I gonna say? Do you still take mushrooms or no? You only do.
I
only
started
smoke weed?
microdosing.
Okay.
So I haven't been high yet. But so yes and no.
Uh-huh.
That has, you know, this pandemic obviously hit the fucking world hard, but it started, my mental health went down, bro. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I didn't want to get on head meds because I was on pills for a fucking decade.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, now I don't even like taking aspirin now. And I, you know, not that head meds can be great for certain people. I've just seen friends literally kill themselves on them when switching meds. And I'm like, I don't trust that, you know? And so I was like, fuck that. What are natural alternatives? So I started taking cold showers, ice baths, swimming in the ocean, breath work, microdosing. You just take like 0.2, 0.3. It doesn't get you high. It just kind of stirs your little, you know,
Yeah.
and it fucking works, dude.
Does it?
So good. Oh my God. Well, I started doing it because all my friends started doing it, and people I trust, and, you know, they're not burnouts and shit. And I listened to something on NPR where, like, CEOs and execs were microdosing.
You're like Silicon Valley people.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, that guy's worth $2.2 billion, and he's taking a microdose. I'm
Peter
gonna
Thiel?
look into
Right.
this, you know?
He's not smoking crack.
Yeah, and then I tried it, and it fucking helped. You just do it like every third day, And you're not, if you're microdosing every day, you're doing it wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not meant like that. And it just stirs your little happy juices just enough, lights you up. And now that it's kind of being decriminalized in a lot of states, they're doing more and more scientific studies on it. And it's really just showing profound effects with war veterans, soldiers, schizophrenia, drug addicts. It's you know, of course, take that with a grain of salt. The drug addict can also eat a quarter every day and ruin his life. You know, like it's. I'm at a different place in my life to where I was. That's why I made the decision to start dabbling in weed and microdosing, because I was like, I did 7 years 100% with nothing.
Wow.
So I built my foundation. I felt like I developed enough. I'm still scared. I'm at least smart enough to know I can't have a beer, you know?
Yeah. I'm sorry for putting these in front of you.
Bro, are you kidding me? I couldn't go to my family's house. I'm fine. Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, shit. It's like, I'm not. It's okay. It's all right. I know where it leads. I'm good. But, yeah. I don't remember where I was going. Just, it's been very, very, very beneficial.
Yeah.
To me and my mental health and anxiety and depression during this dark year we've all had.
I had a guy on here, this filmmaker dude who made a really famous YouTube documentary called Florida Man a few years ago. Anyways, he's really big into mushrooms now, and now basically every project he works on is all about tripping on mushrooms. Like, he's dedicated his life to it. He has a podcast where he's tripping every single morning. They call it
every morning,
every fucking morning, bro.
That's
it's
a
crazy.
bit. That's a bit.
That's a lot.
Dude,
it's a bit much.
He's hardcore into it, and he talks he told a story about his dad. How his dad was super depressed. His dad had PTSD, and his dad still lives here. He lives in LA, he eventually convinced his dad to try mushrooms. He's like, it changed his dad's life.
Yeah,
like,
it does,
completely
man.
changed it for the better. You're like,
It
no
fucking does.
more suicidal thoughts. The dude was happier. Like, he like literally
There's
changed
so
his
many
life.
stories like this. There was that one fighter guy. They documented it. He was, you know, an MMA guy. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry, dude, but he had CTE and brain damage from fighting, you know, and he was taking pills because he's all fucked up because of fighting, you know, head meds and painkillers. And he's a huge dude, so he's taking way more than everyone else because he's a huge fucking dude. And he's drinking like 40 beers a day, he said, because he's fucking 280, and it just takes. Anyways, he was ready to kill himself, and he has a family. He's like, I can't do that, but every thought I have is just like, end it. Like, he's using so much pain. And then he said he took a hero dose of mushrooms, which is 7 grams, where you go to...
A hero dose?
That's what it's called. They call it a hero dose, where you go to... I call it Cuckoosville. Yeah. But he went there, and they filmed it, and he thought he died. And he's like, I'm dead. It's kind of funny and sad. He's like, I'm fucking dead. He's like, is this dead? But then he comes back, and he comes down, and then they do a follow-up. He's like, oh, my God, I stopped drinking. I stopped taking pills. My suicidal thoughts are gone.
Man?
Wow.
You know, and it's like a reset button. And the same exact story pretty much I heard from like an Army Ranger guy that went to war and, you know, did war shit, and he's fucked up.
Yeah.
And this guy was a smart dude. That's, of course, I forgot his name, you know. But I'd have to Google it. But he said that he was just same thing, sad, depressed, suicidal, and he didn't start out that way. This guy graduated college, went to like West Point after that shit. He's like a fucking elite soldier, you know. He's like, I need to do something about this. So he started traveling the world and doing ayahuasca, mushrooms, toad, lick the toad. He did all of them, and he said by far the best one he did was ibogaine. Ibogaine. I believe he's in Peru or something, and he said that you know, it's the same as like a hero dose. You go there, you know. And he said Father Ibogaine appeared before him and said, like, breathe. And he breathed. And he said it like took all the negative, dark energy out of him. And he said he's never felt such a release like that in his life. And after that, he was like, no suicidal thoughts, no PTSD, no anxiety.
Crazy, huh?
Wow.
And so then I did some research in the hippie communities. I believe all this shit, but like ayahuasca, it's mother ayahuasca. You know, there's always male and female, and everything in between. And you gotta say that, you know,
non-binary.
Yeah, and then so there's mother ayahuasca and father ibogaine. It's the male and the female, and then he said that's why he thinks the ibogaine was more beneficial than the ayahuasca because it got rid of all that toxic masculinity baggage. Although I am a fan of masculinity and being a man, just not the toxic shit.
Sure.
I think like it's everyone just makes it so divisive. It's like fuck masculinity. It's like no. Masculinity is good. Build a house, provide for your family, hunt. Toxic masculinity is bad. Like there's a fucking difference. Everything is so weird now.
Well, are you gonna vote for Caitlyn Jenner?
I don't even know. I don't know who the options are.
She's ready to transform California.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of anyone that gets away with vehicular manslaughter.
Yeah.
Because they're rich.
Yeah,
For sure.
I can't imagine a world where Caitlyn Jenner's the governor, and I mean, who would be her vice?
I mean, the Terminator was,
Yeah, that's right. The Terminator was.
but he's pretty cool.
That one I'll give a pass, because Terminator 2,
Yeah,
bro.
right.
Come
Terminator's
on.
the Terminator.
I don't think
That's
I
a
was old
classic
enough
movie.
to vote, but I ain't going to lie. I'd be like, T2?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's great. I could
Yeah,
watch
super
that
cool.
any day, every day. It's the best action movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
So good. It still holds up. God damn, James Cameron, you're fucking genius, bro.
I forgot James Cameron made that.
He's made the best movies. I heard he's a big dick, but who cares? When you make that good, thank you, sir. God
Oh, that was
bless
so
this
nice
guy.
of you, Austin. Austin's.
When you
still
make
telling
that good of movies, you could be a dickhead.
Hell
to me.
yeah.
I don't give
Oh,
a fuck.
yeah.
I won't speak up.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, I completely forgot that he made that. That was one of the fucking best goddamn
Made
movies. of all time.
Alien,
That's the one where
Avatar.
That's the one where he ends with the thumb up and he goes in the lava.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, greatest action movie
T2.
ever. But maybe John Wick. Those are my two favorites.
I
John
haven't even
Wick
seen
is
John
sick.
Wick.
Oh, I gotta go.
That's what I've been telling him for so
That is
long.
the
I've been
best
telling him,
shoot
bro.
'em up movie I've ever seen in my life.
And Keanu Reeves
Keanu
so
Reeves is
badass.
so fucking dope.
Do you have to
Yeah.
watch them like in sequence to
no,
watch like 1, 2, 3?
it's a
They're all
gun
done.
movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
It
right.
doesn't need to.
It
Yeah.
has a storyline, but it's all the same.
Yeah.
He
All
just
I
kills
know-
everybody.
The
I know-
first one actually is somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
After that, I hate the
It just
fans
goes
too.
off.
Everyone's a hater. They're like, he didn't even. It's like, it's a movie, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Right.
unrealistic. He took on 9,000 men. Yeah, it's a fucking movie.
Right.
It's action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not realistic.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah, they're awesome, man.
I like it. I want to see it because Boban's in it. The dude from the Mavs, the tall dude.
He is?
The
I don't
tall dude
remember
with the
him.
big
Is he?
ears. Yeah, he's a bad guy. I've seen the scene where he's in a grocery store and like John Wick beats his ass. He's like an 8-foot tall, big giant looking guy.
Oh,
Looks like Andre
okay.
the Giant.
Yeah. I didn't know that guy was a ball player.
Yeah, he's a pro basketball player.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, he's
That's
great,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah, watch John Wick.
I'm going to. I'm gonna watch it
The
tonight.
first one's the best. Start there, but
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
All right, I'll watch it tonight.
But it's so
Hey,
good.
gotcha.
I'm gonna binge him tonight. It took him forever to get me to watch Trailer Park Boys too. I just started watching Trailer Park Boys.
Oh my god, I love that show. It's so good. Rest in
So
peace. Was it
funny,
Randy?
It's all right.
The
Or,
alcoholic past.
Jim
Jim.
Leahy.
That's right.
Did he just die?
Yeah.
Died a year or so
fuck.
ago.
Yeah.
Year or two
That's
ago.
fucked.
Dude, that show's so
John
funny.
Dunsworth.
Yeah, that's funny as fuck. You got to be super.
Bubbles.
You got to be
Oh,
fucking
yeah,
stoned.
they're
Fucking
classic.
Bubbles, dude.
That's
Stealing
one nice
cards.
fucking kitty right there.
Yeah, they're classic characters, man. And you can see the evolution of the show if you watch it like from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like so grainy and like you filmed it with your little handheld.
Yeah.
And then it gets
production quality
that's
gets
a perfect
better.
example of those guys just made something out of nothing.
out of nothing.
You know?
At all.
Fucking camera. The production on this show is better than them in the
100,
beginning.
I know,
100
right?
times. Yeah.
And then they're funny, and then
Yeah.
it just kept going.
Yeah, it was
and
just
kept-
like some friends made some shit on
Yeah.
home
It was
movies.
just like fucking CKY, right?
Yeah,
like they,
basically.
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they
Jackass
started
shit.
like CKY. Just
Just
Oh,
making
making
dude,
the-
I watched that in high school.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
yeah.
that
That
I
was
remember
everything to us.
that
bro.
freestyle by that one fool, Yellow. I never
Yeah,
remember that
Brandon.
shit?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Brandon
Yeah.
DiCamillo.
dude.
Oh man.
CKY is what got me started in everything.
Everything. All my buddies started jumping off buildings.
Yep,
It was
yep.
like
We were
ourselves,
doing.
but we didn't even film it. It was just for pain. We're
Really?
so stupid.
We
yeah.
filmed it.
Yeah, luckily
No.
Danny filmed everything.
I started
we
filming
didn't
it.
was
have
filming
a
for us.
camera.
Bro.
We just have the memory.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The broken bones.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we got in so much fucking
Yeah.
trouble. I feel like that CKY era, that when they started making those those videos and posting those, selling the DVDs, that
That was awesome.
that must have inspired so many
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
kids,
Oh yeah.
millions. I mean,
To just do
I
it
met
yourself.
Dunn at a club once.
Oh,
and
man, rest
in Really? peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
fuck.
I was hammered and on ecstasy. It was like Vegas. I was like, you fucking Ryan Dunn, bro. And he's like, yeah. I was like, you're my hero, dude. And he's like, all right. And that was
The
it.
random hero.
He was cool. He gave me a hug, dude.
Really?
I was
Cool
a
as
sweaty,
hell,
all
man.
drugged out kid. He's like, fuck yeah, bro. And I just remember it was real kind words. It was a club. And he was yelling in my ear. He's like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just remember saying, like, I fucking love you and Led Zeppelin, bro. I just named
so
those two things. I guess it's good company to
Hell
be in.
yeah.
You know, obviously fans of a lot of shit, but yeah, Ryan Dunn, Jackass, that whole crew, CKY.
Bam's fucking going
Bam,
downhill.
yeah,
he's
a
a
perfect example.
basket case right
he
now.
stayed too long.
Yeah.
he's on like
He
Marilyn
stayed
Manson's
too long.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see him at Marilyn Manson's house.
Oh yeah, all the time, for
Yeah.
sure. He's fucking just watching his social media. It's so fucking
Yeah, it's a
sad
roller
to see
coaster
him
ride.
just spiral
it's so
like that.
sad, just spiraling.
He's all
He's
bloated.
puking on camera. It looks
Yeah.
like he's gonna die. Bam, I love you, bro. Get sober, man.
Yeah,
Go ibogaine, bro.
ibogaine.
Hail Marys. I just like
Yeah.
go do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
If rehab ain't working, go to Peru. Do ayahuasca and ibogaine.
Yeah.
he's done
You're gonna
it. I've
fucking
never
die,
done it.
man.
Hell
You've
yeah.
done it?
Not the ibogaine. I've
Okay.
done ayahuasca though.
How was that?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was good. I mean, it wasn't like a super relief of everything pulled out of me, but it's definitely a very spiritual and mental
Yeah.
thing to go
Yeah.
through, and it's really good for you for sure.
Yeah, there's no guarantee of that. Like that
Right.
war dude. That
I
was
think
like
if
his
you
fifth
have that
one, you
in
know.
you,
Really?
yeah,
And
you
that's
know.
when he was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I finally got
Yeah.
rid of the thing I was
Yeah.
trying to get rid of."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't really trying to get rid of anything, I don't think, when I took it.
Yeah.
He just didn't have a high enough dose. His tolerance is too high.
Double down, baby.
Double down,
Next
brother.
time- Next time I would double down for sure.
So I guess
Sweet.
that's the process. It's like it's such a hellful experience of puking and shit in your pants.
Yeah.
If you
that
have some
you have
shit
a
in there,
rebirth
yeah.
process, and it cleanses you. Well, you purge. You know, that's
Well, like
that's the story.
Bad energy leaves you.
Yeah,
or
just like
something
a
that.
rebirth. You're just like, oh fuck, you shed that bullshit you've been holding on, whatever the fuck it is, childhood trauma, war, fighting,
Yeah.
abuse. I don't know, whatever.
Dude, if I eat too much of an edible, I feel that way. I'm telling you, I fucking
nah,
start.
that's different, bro.
Yeah, it's different.
That's just anxiety.
I just gotta step it up. I gotta start.
Yeah, you're not
I gotta
tapping
start
into
building
the
my
next
tolerance
level.
higher. Craig, thanks for doing this, bro. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Tell the
man.
people
Having me.
tell everybody where
Yeah,
they
how
can
long
find
are
all
you
your
here?
shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was too
My
many
bad.
questions.
Sorry.
What's that?
I was saying, how long are you here? What are you doing
I'm
shows?
4 more shows. Saturday, Sunday. Come get these jokes, baby.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
Tell them where they can follow you and listen to
Craig
your
P.
stuff.
Conant on all social media platforms. CraigConant.com. I'm touring. I got 43, 45 cities this year.
Fuck yeah.
Go to my shows. You know, this is my foot in the door tour. This is my first headlining tour.
Cool, man.
So
Sick,
fucking
man.
make me look good. Have them bring me back, everybody. I love you all and thank you.
Hell yeah,
man.
bro.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Goodbye, world.
Peace.